Welcome to Going Low in CSGO. I've been bad. I've sucked massively at this game, but today I'm going to try and outdo myself by being the worst player ever. It's going to be awkward to watch, and even more so to be involved in this match, but at some point I need to reach my lowest ebb, and I believe that this match was it. Aiding me in my struggle is Balthazar, a good friend of mine who will prevent me from being kicked. The rounds went by better than I could have hoped. They didn't have a clue where to look and I caught them out time after time. As the rounds progressed, fear must have stirred in their hearts. It was their worst nightmare. They were trapped in a confined map with a psychopath with no value for life. And now it's time to go back to the past. I'll be talking about my times in Counter-Strike Source in a minute, but first, let's go back even further, back to the mid-90s. You might have realised that the music in this series is kind of strange. That first song you heard was mine. This song is my dad's. I would listen to him late at night when I was trying to get to sleep. He would be up in the loft playing on his synthesizers and they'd all sound kind of like this. I think it shaped my music taste and that's why I make such strange things to this day. I didn't want to see all of my dad's music disappearing, so I got all of his old cassette tapes and digitized them. I do this with every bit of my life, and it's only because of this that this series is possible. All of the pictures and old videos are from my archives. In a way, I wish that I'd recorded more. I've lost a lot over the years. But the more you record, the less mysterious it gets, and the less nostalgic you feel. The story of my Counter-Strike Source days is coming to a close. This video will contain the last bit, and the most exciting. We started in JD, we then reformed into GPX. I went my own way for a while, and then came back. We united the two great clans of our school, and made Dissolutions. As usual, we had trouble thinking up a name. We all wanted different things, so we came up with a nice clan logo, and got the name from that. I don't think any of us knew what Dissolutions was at the time, although considering the rate at which all the old clans were dissolving, it was quite suitable. I remember that first night. There were about 10 of us and we all raided this big public server. We were part of something important. We had a new logo and a fresh start. We could pave our destiny. We felt like the big boys in town. We dominated everybody, even the lesser skilled members among us. Those from GPX provided the skill. Those from the KK clan provided lots of members and a huge amount of motivation. With this newfound power, I signed up to the leagues. We dominated the clans that used to beat us. The sense of progression was amazing. On Clanbase, we had never been number one, but things were about to change. We had two different teams, and we swapped it around quite a bit. We had a couple of fake accounts, so people in Team 1 could also play in Team 2. We weren't afraid to fight dirty. We'd been playing by the rules for too long. I had learned a thing or two from the other clans I've been in, and I put it to practice with this one. Dissolutions was a work of art. Finally, we were where we wanted to be. At the top of the ladder. This picture is the crowning achievement of my Counter-Strike Source days. People will dismiss Clanbase as nothing important and full of rubbish players, but we don't care. That was our story. We paved our way, and we reached the top. Sure, we had people from outside our school, but this was a school-based clan, friends who play for fun, but were also decent. Unfortunately, it doesn't sound like much when you put it on a CV, but I was very proud of being a clan leader, and learned a lot in the role about team management and just how difficult it can be. By now it was about 2007. Counter-Strike Source was beginning to lose out to rivals such as Call of Duty, and we felt like the latecomers to the scene. We were like Rocky in his latest video, but it didn't matter. We had done it. However, there were problems brewing on the horizon.
Come on, let's go.
In round 12 I decided to hide in the apartments. I don't know why they smoked there, I really don't. And eventually the second person decided to go through there as well. 2v1. Who will win? Let's see it through the eyes of the enemy. Round 14 I decided to hang out with my friend. We found a lovely little corner to hide in and waited. And waited. And waited. And then he died. Out of anger I fired my load in his general direction before getting my old favourite weapon out. Go, cleansing fire! Darkness took me, and I strayed out of thought and time. As my vision faded, I began to have flashbacks of my life. Conveniently, it was of the downfall of Dissolutions. It wasn't a quick thing. Dissolutions was strong for a long time, but people began to lose interest. I was now in my second year of college, and most people had started moving on. My friends were leaving for university and didn't have time for computer games anymore. Other people in the clan would hang out with other clans in their spare time. There was no social life to Dissolutions. It became just a name. There was no reason to stay. The moment we lost a match, all of a sudden I saw my team members jumping to that clan. It was heartbreaking, and I felt betrayed. As a clan leader, you've got to expect things like that. There were some people who would join in groups, and you knew that the moment that one left, the rest would as well. Occasionally it was worth having them just because they had a bit of skill, but it became cold and mechanical. It wasn't a fun thing anymore. Several of our members were accused of hacking, and I myself had my suspicions. They weren't particularly good players, it's just that you could never creep up on them. If you were hiding in a weird spot, they'd conveniently check that spot. I donned a different username and followed them on public servers. And sure enough, one of them at the end of the round, after everybody had died, looked towards a door and shot through it, hitting a window on the other side of the map in all four corners. He dropped his guard. He was hacking, but it was the most stupid proof I've ever had of hacking. Ever. At one point our TeamSpeak got hacked. It was because one of the server admins had the same username and password. I won't say who it was, but let's just say the password was Dylan. But I'm proud to say that despite all this, Dissolutions went out with a bang. The fighting spirit didn't end until the end. We were always down one good player. If we had a 5v5, we'd have 4 decent players. 2v2, we'd have 1 decent player, and so on. It's almost as if someone was missing from my life who should have been there. Then of course, there would be conflicts between the good players in the clan. Childish insults would go back and forth. And what do? Do you take one side? Do you take the other? Do you just leave them to it? Whatever you do, as clan leader, you lose. It wasn't all fun and games. Some people who I was very fond of would leave the clan for others, and then challenge ours to a battle. If they beat us, they insulted us. The clip shown here is of one such match. I'd been really good friends with the person for ages, and he left without warning and suddenly became nasty towards me. I was shocked and didn't really want to lose against his new clan. And we didn't. This round in particular put me in a good mood all day. Our final match couldn't have been more perfect. We were defending our number 1 spot on the clan-based 2v2 UK ladder, and we were up against ESX Force, number 2 in the UK at that time, on that ladder, on clan-base. Now the other matches we had were against people so immature they'd find any excuse to get the win even if we beat them. Oh, your clan tags didn't match. Oh, this person played and he only joined clan-base after we challenged you. Oh, you only have 4 players and we have 5, therefore we win straight away by default. Oh, you joined the server 10 minutes late, we win. Oh, we passworded the server so you couldn't join, we win. But ESX Force were nice. They even postponed the 2v2 match because I couldn't find someone to play with. After a couple of days of trying to find someone, but to no avail, I challenged them to a 2v1, a true Rocky scenario. Would I win? Of course not, but I did a fairly good job. I lost 21-9 and then folded the clan. Very soon after round 14, it was round 15. I made a final stand against the CTs before we switched sides. (10-5) to them, and I had a very respectable score. Amazingly, on the first round I actually reached the hostage and took him to safety. Well, almost. I took cover in a house and stood there for a while, before going the wrong way back through the level.
Go, go! Go, go! Hostage, go hostage!
Now you might think that that's unrealistic, but the number of people I've seen do this in competitive matches.
Terrorists win. Let's get this done.
Finally, my team had had enough. They tried kicking me, and 3 of them agreed to it. Fortunately, somebody didn't. I wonder who that could have been. Just like in chess, the majority of your improvement comes from analysing your games. I'm going to show you this round from my perspective, since this is what I saw, and then I'll show it from the enemy's one. It's surprising how many things happen without me being aware of them. And then I die. Cool. Now let's see it from their perspective. What the enemy saw. It could be a spin-off series, couldn't it?
Let's get this done.
Wait, what's he doing there? Going back to my view. Look, there he is! I really can't believe we missed each other. Let's see that from another perspective. Wow, what a ninja. A ninja with very bad reflexes. God, look at me. I blatantly know he's there. Obvious wall hacks. And then we both miss each other again. Incredible. Oh, and just for the record, the top right view is what I see through my monitor. So yeah, I'm not wall hacking to make these things up. If I had recorded a demo, I wouldn't be able to see the scoreboard like that. So yeah, I'm not hacking. Although I can't say the same about one person. Do you remember Thinkfast? You know, the guy whose mum died, someone insulted him and he took it out on our clan? Yeah, that Thinkfast. He became part of everything. He was a legend to us. Look, there's his influence right there. Anyway, we saw him once more. Only once. But first, just to irritate you, let's go back even further. Back to 2001, that'll be it. I played Unreal Tournament. Against bots. I was really low. And we're talking probably skilled or experienced level bots here. And I played it for years. I downloaded every map and model I could, and bear in mind that back in the day it took about 10 minutes to download a megabyte. With my computer time allowance, anything beyond about 10 megabytes was out of reach for me. There are a lot of disappointing things I downloaded, but there was one brilliant map that stood out. CTF... Not quite sure how to pronounce it, but it was awesome. Whilst most Unreal Tournament maps focused on boxy rooms and corridors and indoor boring places, was a whole island. It had water, it had lava, it had random houses you could hide in, it had crates you could shoot. Not many maps had that. I admired the person who made it, even though looking back, it's kind of amateurish. I believe that the person who made it then went on to Second Life and sells castles for tens of thousands of dollars, so he's doing well for himself. A lot of you may know me for mapping, and I got into mapping because of this map. I wanted to make something like it. Alas, I didn't like the Unreal editor. It wasn't until 2004, when Half-Life 2 came out, that I could start mapping properly. I did some silly little tests, but I never finished anything. And then Counter-Strike came out, and it had bot support. I could now play maps that I made with other people. Sort of. And from there it just advanced. I started making tutorials because I thought, well, if I'm never going to finish anything, my skills will just go to waste. Why not teach other people who may be able to finish it? Because of my mapping, I may have prioritised having a clan server slightly higher than other people, but we had hours of fun playing on them. Other people in the clan, including Beta Killer, started making maps of their own which we all played for hours on end. What amazed me was how the maps never turned out as you planned, but they'd be fun in some other way. This Give Valley one had sloped sides which people ended up surfing around, and that became the main focus of the map, so I added ramps everywhere and it was really good. So good in fact that I remade it for CSGO. Splat Valley. Beta Killer, of course, made a sick twisted map where you were stuck in a pitch black basement with shotguns, and you had to run around all these crates firing at people in the darkness. It was a massacre. I don't want to talk about it. Later on I started making defuse maps. I remember people were on this server all day and I was updating it constantly with newer versions based on feedback. It was the most productive mapping day I ever had. My particular highlight was when Toku came on to playtest it. Oh, the memories. At one point, Enemy Down was looking for mappers to make some maps for their league, and it was because of this picture that they accepted me. I don't think it was too successful, but at one point we all went on a server and tested this map. I think it was D-Autumn or D-Season or something like that. What I wanted to do was a dam map, and it spurred me into action with the first couple of attempts. It was a map that I remade so many times over the years, and it eventually became D-Tagivasati, which is probably my favourite map that I've ever made. What's funny is that normally when I look back at a map that I've made, I can remember everything I was listening to, everything I ate, what time of the year it was, and everything when I made it. But this map is a mystery, and yet despite that, it's got even more items placed in it than my later maps, which look far more complex. Weird. So what's Thinkfast got to do with this? Well, when we were playtesting this map at this stage on the server, guess who randomly joined? That's right, Thinkfast, over a year after he deleted our server and ran away. He also had a brand new Steam ID because apparently the last one got banned. What a great guy. This was in the autumn days of Dissolutions, when I was at the peak of my Counter-Strike Source skill. I was on the server with Dr. Kapow and my 2v2 buddy Tiddles. Thinkfast didn't stand a chance, though he did put up a pretty good fight. I just wish that he was that good when he was in our clan. Without the hacks, obviously. I recorded the whole thing with Source TV, and to this day, I'm still not sure if he was wall hacking, but there were some fairly suspicious bits. Anyway, it didn't matter. It was a nice little bit of closure. I made it into this video, the full version of which can be found in the description of this video, so you can make your mind up for yourself if he was hacking or not. The video itself was the first thing I ever uploaded online. It was to Google Video because I preferred it over YouTube at the time, but I later uploaded it to 2Clicks Philip. The rivalry we had with Thinkfast was very gentlemanlike. We respected each other and we enjoyed the element of right and wrong that it brought to the table. These sort of things made the Counter-Strike days far more enjoyable. I was so happy to see him that one last time that I decided to name that version of the map after him. And so concludes my encounters with Thinkfast. Somewhere out there, he's still around, doing something. But to me, he will always remind me of Counter-Strike. Thank you, Thinkfast.
Throwing flashbang. Fire! Throwing flashbang.
I didn't do anything amazing in round 19, but I had to include it just for this shot. So artistic and media studies like. I was very close to going through that door, but instead I jumped down into the smoke like Batman. That was close. As much as I'd like to say that this game, like Dissolutions, went out with a bang, it didn't. I did some head-on rushes and died. My teammates got fed up of me, and they ended up camping in their spawn out of desperation. Eventually the time ran out and this game came to an end. I always find it fascinating to see the ranks of the players and to know that someday I will be at the same rank or lower than them. And that concludes Going Low in CSGO Season 2. I still have a long way to go to Silver 1 and before this game I wasn't looking forward to it. I would play the game alone, throwing away kills and dying, and for what? A rank, a simple picture next to my name. But as with Clan Dissolutions, it's not about the destination. That's just a single point, a goal that guides us. The real story is the journey and the people you embark on it with. It's during this stage that the adventures are made, stories are told and games are laughed at. By tipping the goal of CSGO on its head, I've made enemies and have probably upset some innocent people.
Don't crash, fucking idiot, please!
I hope that you don't see it as mindless trolling, as ultimately the joke is on me. I will forever damage my ranks and stats on CSGO, and will gain neither power nor respect from anybody in such a position in CSGO already. Sometimes it's fun to tip the world on its head and to see what changes. That's the real goal of going low in CSGO. I have met people I otherwise wouldn't have met, and have done things I wouldn't have if I had simply aimed for the top. A goal that's overrated and under-rewarding. Yes, I'll be pleased to have reached Silver 1. Just like Dissolutions reaching number 1 on the ladder, in a way it sets you free. It's something you can tick off your to-do list and it's the perfect time to try something else. Heck, maybe after this I'll play properly again and see how pro I can go. Who knows?